Hi, I'm Heather Heath, and I'm going to talk to y'all today about starting your horse on the pattern. For me, I like a horse to be really broke before and have some fundamentals before putting them on the pattern, so that if I end up running into a problem on the pattern, I can have something to go back to be able to fix those problems. This horse is exactly at that stage of just learning the pattern. She's really, really broke. And so now it's just time to show her the pattern and see what she can do in her career. So first, when I first get a horse in, I will walk through the pattern a time or two and show them kinda, but then I go ahead and start kind of trotting them through. I will usually take that horse a touch wider. It may be 5 or 6 feet when I first start them, just so it's not crowding them around that barrel and panicking them up. They eventually, when they're running, they will bring that size of that barrel down on their own anyway. So I will start a touch wider than I would on my finished horse. I always want to make sure I ride up to access point 3, which is the very back side of the barrel. And then I'll just bring them around. I want to be leaning forward, and I'll go ahead and start teaching them those transition phases. I want to make sure if they're a little, I kind of try not to have too much pressure on the rein in between the barrels in the beginning, so that they'll kind of start doing some things on their own. If they're, not holding their frame or whatever coming to each barrel, then I might have to use a little more leg. So when I leave the first barrel, then I want to get up and even at the trot and start, like I said, teaching them those transition phases. When I get over here to this barrel, if I am at the trot in the beginning, I'll sit first and then I'll slow my horse down. If it's a pushier horse, I would go ahead and stop that horse. I'm just at the trot, so it's not like I'm jamming them in the ground. I would, like I said though, only if it's a more pushy horse. If it's a radier horse, like this mare is going to be probably radier, I wouldn't probably stop. I would just slow her to the walk, and then I would walk around that barrel, again at 5 or 6 feet around this barrel, keeping the perfect distance all the way around. Or, well, I say perfect distance, I mean the same distance all the way around that barrel. And again, always making sure the hip is in. Then I'll get up, trot onto this next barrel. I'm not doing much with my rein here. Just kind of let her find that path to that barrel on her own. Because when I'm running, I don't want to have to be doing everything for her. So again, I would come up here, I would sit first, and then I would walk around this barrel with my 5 or 6 feet, because eventually she will hopefully run at 3 or 4 feet. I'll finish the barrel. I will kind of side pass them. I want to really push that hip over, and I'll finish this way, and then I'll just start again. I do that at the trot until they kind of start rating on their own, and they've found that path to each barrel on their own. Once they're doing that, then I'll beef it up to the lope. And depending on the horse, I may stay that same width around that barrel, or I may bring it in a little bit. Come up here, lope, slow down, trot around it, keeping same distance, looking over my horse's head, picking up the correct lead. You never want to lope around the barrel in the wrong lead. Bit her up a little bit right there. Reinforce that collection, and then coming on around the barrel. Finishing on the back side with some outside leg. This is how I start my horses. Then I always reinforce that collection down at that barrel. Whatever speed I went to it, I'm going to bump it down to the next speed. If I lope to it, I'm going to bump it down to a trot. If I trotted to it, I'm going to bump it down to a walk. And again, depending on the horse, if it's a pushy horse or a rady horse, I do different things accordingly. So I hope this will help you when you start your horses.